Welcome back to Cosmetics Anonymous. I am your favorite mama of the three bougie bitches, and today's video is love during lockup, girl. So obviously episodes come out on Friday, so I watched it over the weekend. I think I watched on Saturday. Took my little notes, and I have the iPad today. Now it's not my iPad, but it's still an iPad, okay? I have Belle's iPad with me today, and we are going to talk about a love during lockup. Some myths have been debunked from my last video. So girl, I guess I owe Rob an apology, girl, because Rob is the sole provider. But we'll get into that very soon, okay? Let's get into Love During Lockup, season 6, episode 5. Episode starts off with Ayanna getting ready to find out if she's gonna do 15 years, yeah, not 15 years, 15 months. Sorry, not 15 months, girl, am I okay? She's trying to find out if she's gonna do 15 days or 75 days of house arrest or 90 days. And so they're kind of recapping like her being on the phone with Jamal, him telling her about 2 years time to get married once he gets out, which she is completely opposed to. She does not want to hear and nothing about this 2-year business. She's like, this is news to me. I'm not into all that. I'm trying to get married right away. And he is pretty much saying, I'm not going to marry you just to prove to people that I love you. I want to give you the wedding of your dreams. I'm calling horse poop, but that's neither here nor there. So at this part of the episode, which is I think the note that we ended on the last episode, she's in her kitchen getting ready to go on the Zoom call for the court to tell her whether or not she's going to do 15, 75, or 90. But then the scene switches, and so we'll get into that a little later. Candice gets out of jail, okay, and she and Candy and Andy are kissing outside of the correctional facility, and they are super duper excited and happy to finally be in each other's arms. When I saw her, I said, Candice is a little fluffy, honey. Based on her mugshot, I would have never have assumed that she was on the fluffier side. Girl, it's given that she was eating all the peanut butter cups in the damn jail, okay? She definitely was eating good in there. Candice is really happy to be free. Obviously, she's loving the Tahoe. I think that's what it is, girl. I don't know. It's a truck of some sort. It's a pickup truck, and she's loving it. It's very cute. But while she is in her confessional, she tells us a bunch of her charges, and one of her charges is actually car theft. Before they even get into the truck, Andrew decides he is going to propose to her right beside the truck. I said, this is not romantic at all. Okay, this is not romantic, but this is what he told his friend, and he told us at home this is what he was going to do when she came out.
You know, your mom came to me in a dream, and I promised her in that dream that I would take care of you always, and I intend to keep that promise every single day.
I love you.
I love you. So, Candice, will you marry me?
Oh my gosh.
Girl. Bruh. The way Candice took so long to answer this man was criminal, okay? They need to put her back in the damn jail with the way that she took long to answer this man. And I'm not even gonna tell you what she said until we get to that part of the episode, okay? Now, had I been in Candice's shoes and I just got out the pen, I don't know that I would want to be proposed to beside of a truck. I'm not gonna hold you. I might say yes in the moment because I feel bad. But when we get to the house and the cameras is off, I'm going to be like, you know, you got to propose to me again, because I ain't going for that unromantic proposal. I'm going to set a little bit of a standard for myself, but I personally just could not accept that proposal. The next scene we have is Teenie telling her children that Daddy will not be coming home when they anticipated him to be coming home. The children are a little bit disappointed, but Teenie is now on board with what Rob had said, which was that he will be completely free versus having to report to the parole/probation officer, yada yada yada. So then her son leaves, and she's just talking to her daughter, and they're talking about their mommy-daughter moments and, you know, the subtle changes that may occur. So they're pretty much just having a conversation about boundaries and what boundaries they can put up so that their mother-daughter time is not imposed on or intruded on now that Rob is home.
All of those moments are still ours. We're gonna have to allow time to adjust him first. I'm not saying like he's gonna come before me or anything, but like just allow him to at least get used to things and how things go and how, just so we get to know him and he gets to know us a lot more. So you're gonna share your pedicure days with him?
Her daughter is being really understanding, and she's only 13, and so that's part of the reason I feel so bad for her, because 13 is that tender age where you definitely do not want to lose your relationship with your mom to her inmate husband coming out of jail. Like, it's just not that, right? And so I think that she does have these concerns that she wants to address, and she's trying her best to address them with her mom, but she's probably feeling a lot of anxiety inside about whether or not her relationship with her mom is going to change drastically, you know, because if she is a smart cookie, she can already see this happened out of nowhere. Like, you know, one day mom just woke up and brought us to the jail to visit some man in prison, and now all of a sudden we're calling him daddy. Like, maybe it's been normalized for them, so they can't analyze it in that way, but she may have that internal dialogue and be saying to herself, like, is this normal? Or if she talks to like other people, like her friends and stuff, or even her grandma, who doesn't find that some of the stuff that is going on, like the camera situation, is normal. We'll talk about that after. Depending on who she talks to about her life outside of her mother, if she's allowed to, they may give her another perspective and something like food for thought. And so, of course, I think Teeny was joking, but like if her daughter had agreed to share the pedicure days and the manicure days with Rob, I believe that Teeny would be right on board. But her daughter is very much putting her foot down and saying, absolutely not. I'm not sharing those days. I am going to allow him to have his time to adjust, to get used to things, you know, but there's certain boundaries we're just not going to cross. And I like that the daughter is saying that right away, because they got this to reference. So like if Rob comes home and it starts off slow where he starts taking over those pedicure days, or like she's supposed to go do her nails and toes with her mom, and her mom is then all of a sudden not allowed to, or Rob is home so he can fully control the finances and the bank account and say, you're not doing that because X, Y, and Z. Oh, they're in for a rude awakening. And personally, I can see it happening, but we'll talk about that later in the episode. Now, of course, Teeny tells her, you can go to Rob for certain things, but if it's ever advice about a boy or anything like that, please come to me. Don't go to him. Come to your mom. At the end of the day, everybody is in agreement that it's going to be an adjustment once Rob gets there. I think they are a lot more anxious about it than they are showing on camera, for sure, especially the children. So in the next scene, we have Rick and Sam. In the scene, we find out that Sam has been married a total of 5 times, okay? Baby's giving Black Widow at this point. For me, this is a huge red flag. So while she's on the phone, he's actually with, I believe, his niece and his sister. I'm not sure if it was his sister or his other niece, but there's 2 of his family members at the table with him, and, you know, Sam calls and he's on a phone call with her, and he tells her excitedly that, you know, I told everybody we're engaged. Sam is happy, but Sam is a woman that is about her business, okay? So although she's happy and that's great information that he's telling her, she's like, in December, I need you to come and visit me. I want you to come and visit me in December. So Rick tells her, I don't know about that now, because my money's looking funny. Okay, I ain't got it. I don't have the money right now. It's a little tight, right? And so that is just not something Sam is trying to hear right now. When Rick tells Sam that his money is not looking right, she's like, well, you've been doing a lot of shopping, so I know you lying. I'm a little gagged because I'm just like, not she pocket watch it, baby. One thing about these people in jail, if they want something, you better give it to them, otherwise it's hell to pay. So when she calls him out for shopping, Rick tells her, I'm only buying necessities. I'm not out here buying no damn Ferrari, okay? Like, I'm buying toilet paper, toothpaste. I am not out here shopping, you know, buying me a Rolly. Like, I'm not doing all that. I am simply buying my necessities. And so at this point, Sam is livid, and she tells him, I'm actually not taking no for an answer, because 1, we're engaged, 2, December is the holidays. I need to see you. It's the holidays. I'm not going to be lonely on the holidays. Like, you need to come to Idaho. The only answer is yes. So when she says this, I guess his response of him only buying necessities triggered her, because she started going off about how she ain't got no coffee or no body wash or this or that. Okay, now I'm sat there a little confused because I'm pretty sure in the first episode I heard her mention her children and her grandchildren, so I'm a little like, where's your daughters at, or your sons, whoever? Why aren't they getting you the body wash? Why aren't they getting you your needs, baby? You can't just depend on Rick for that when you have family. So what's going on? At this point, Rick is stressed. Okay, let me show y'all.
Well, we'll just have to make it happen. I'm like not taking no for an answer, because I don't think that's going to be good if I have to wait that long without seeing you. And then also not getting any coffee, that's going to make my life really miserable too.
No, I know.
No body wash, no lotion, no nothing.
I'll get it figured out.
Poor Rick, child. Stress.
I'm going to go and we'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah. The man is retired on a pension, okay? He does not got it. He ain't got it. I don't know what job Rick had before. I'm gonna have to Google it. But one thing about the prisoners is they're very entitled and easily frustrated when told no or wait. Or I see a lot of like narcissistic traits in the prisoners, and maybe it's just because they are confined to, you know, 4 walls and a metal bed. Girl, they're miserable. I would be miserable too. I mean, I sort of get it, but at the same time, I find that most of them, just like Candice in, you know, the first 4 episodes, when they are being told things over the phone that they simply just don't want to hear, they are so quick to get off that phone. I find them to be very rude and belligerent when they're not getting their way. I mean, she's not even reasoning with him like, I understand that you're on a fixed income, but like, what can we do to, you know, figure out you coming? Like, what can we do? She's not asking or providing, you know, options like, hey, can we pinch this here? Or maybe don't send me commissary for the next 3 months so that you can take that money and come see me. You know what I mean? Like, she's not doing that because she is also complaining that she don't have body wash. Girl, if he can't even send you the stuff to wash your booty cheeks, obviously he ain't got it to get on no damn plane or even drive. I mean, the man is rolling around on 2 wheels all the time. He rides his bike. Does he have a car? He rides his bike. So it's just like, he's always trying to save money some way or another. So she needs to be a little bit more understanding, in my personal opinion. I think she's being a little bratty. But yeah, common theme with the prisoners. If they don't like the phone conversation, they're like, okay, bye. See you never. See you never. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're pissing me off. I'm already in here pissed off. I don't need you to be on the phone pissing me off too. I called you so that you could talk sweet nothings to me and make me feel like it's gonna be okay. But you're not making me feel like it's gonna be okay. So at this point, I'm gonna have to get off the phone. You know, that's really how they act. So in the next scene, we have Joey. Joey ends up meeting up with Minerva, who is like, I don't know if she was trans or just in drag, but she's like a local celebrity. She has like a column in a magazine or a newspaper, and it's a sex column. So she gives sex advice. He's pretty much asking for advice on how to dirty talk. And so she tells him he should do it like by himself, like in his own head, to practice. And so he states that he's awkward with it. And so when he tries to do it with his partner, it comes off as like goofy in a way, and then his partner's like turned off because he's like, what the hell did you just say? Like, what are you talking about? Next subject, let's talk about lasagna. You know what I mean? And so their conversation moves into things a little bit more explicit, and he's asking her what her go-to move is. She gives advice that is a little too explicit for me to talk on here without getting unmonetized or flagged. Okay, so let's just say she said you gotta use a lot of saliva. You need to involve every part of the anatomy. She also lets him know that it's a two-way street when it comes to, you know, pleasing your partner, and he needs to speak up in those moments and ask for what he wants. It can't just be about the partner. They then briefly talk about how addiction, which obviously Joey has suffered with addiction and Mike has also suffered with addiction, you know, meth, alcohol, and so they talk about how addiction can stunt your growth. And so if you start taking drugs at a certain age, and it will keep you stuck at that age. And so I believe Joey was saying that Mike started taking drugs at like 25, and so his brain is very much stuck in, I'm 25 years old and he's 40. And so when they talked about this is not something that I was familiar with, though it makes a lot of sense to me, especially because when we first were introduced to Joey, I found Joey to be immature, despite the fact that Mike was calling Joey mature. I believe that, drugs and alcohol will definitely stunt your growth if you have an addiction to them early on. And what we know about Joey is that his addiction started when he was 15 years old. So maybe that's why I find him juvenile. There's something about Joey that just seems like he has no life experience. It's the weirdest thing. He just has this innocence to him, and maybe that's partially because of his, addiction. So we head back over to Rick and Sam at this point. So in this scene, Rick and Sam are still arguing about the fact that he can't come visit her in December. In my opinion, like I stated before, I think she's being absolutely ridiculous.
Maybe you just want to stay a bachelor.
But I don't know where this is coming from. That's ridiculous. That's an insult.
You want to still get married?
Yeah, I do. It's just doesn't sound like you want to.
I didn't change my mind.
Like, what?
Okay. Sam is kind of pushing the...
Where did she get that from? How does him being strapped for cash and not able to come and visit her in December translate to he still wants to be a bachelor and he doesn't want to get married? How did the two correlate? First of all, when I'm watching this, I was just as confused as Rick, because Rick's like, girl, what are you talking about? She's very irrational. And so this was just another phone call that was going to end on a bad note. Rick states that this is his third marriage. So it looks like both of them are people that have tried to marry, and I don't know if they're hopeless romantics or they're just not realizing that they might be the problem as to why their marriages have failed. Because 5 times and 3 times is just so beyond me. Okay, like, listen, if I get married and then I get married the second time because the first marriage didn't work out, I ain't going for number 3. I'm not. Okay, you are not about to call me Elizabeth Taylor in this. No, ma'am. Okay. He also states that his ex-wife, so the last one that he was with, gets a portion of his pension from now until the end of time. So that's a part of the reason why he has no damn money, because his ex-wife is taking a big chunk of his pension. Rick is just wishing, hoping, and praying that Sam would be a little bit more patient with him, because obviously Sam knows why his money is tight, but she does not care. She doesn't care. So he goes to go play tennis with his friend, and he starts venting to his friend about the situation. So then the friend asks him a yes or no question. Do you want to marry Sam? So Rick starts saying absolutely he wants to marry her. Sam is great. She builds him up. And it sounds like this is not something he's experienced before in his previous marriages or relationships. And so it sounds like this is something that he's been looking for and has not been able to find. So when he says that, his friend is like, well, then you need to get to Idaho. And you need to stop wasting time. But don't ask me for no money, because I ain't about to help you get to Idaho. And I said, not the friends that you ain't borrowing my money, child. I said, I know that's right. Don't lend your friends no money now. Huh? Yeah, baby? What? I'm too noisy. You cannot sleep. Nola, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, girl. I'm on my 3rd video.
But I'm tired.
You were sleeping this whole time. You took a nap. You were not supposed to get up when I got up this morning. You were supposed to get up like maybe 2 hours later. You got up too early. That's not my fault. Don't go back to sleep. This kid is crazy.
I am a cat. Don't.
Okay. So in the next scene, we see Teeny and Charlene. Charlene is Teeny's mom. So when Charlene gets to the house, she notices that the cameras are down, and she finds that this is interesting because usually the cameras are not down. As we know from the last episode, Teeny was very upset at Rob, and she unplugged the cameras because of the situation with his mother. Teeny actually is preparing for her daughter's birthday, and she needs to go shopping for that and to get some other items too. And so she tells her mama, leave your purse at home because we finna spend Rob's money today. Of course the mother is excited about this. Who wouldn't be? Anytime you don't have to spend your own money as an adult, it's exciting, okay? So I don't blame mama for being excited about spending Rob's money. But this is where I have to reference my last video, because I thought that Teeny was paying for everything and putting money on Rob's books, but apparently that's not the case. So my apologies to Rob and Teenie, because apparently Rob is the provider, right? Well, we'll talk about it in a second, child.
And a little bit for us too. But you can leave your purse here because we're gonna spend Rob's money. Oh, that sounds good to me. I was really mad at Rob for not consulting with me for the decision not to take parole.
Teenie is trying to teach Rob a lesson, which, girl, again, bad news bears for her, but she gonna have to learn when he come out. She was upset about Rob not consulting her about taking parole, or about not taking parole and staying in jail longer than, or staying in prison longer than the initial agreement. And so instead of going to actual therapy, Teenie uses retail therapy to cope. Which I'm sure many of us are guilty of this. She states that she has an addiction to shopping, and she is going to go and see about that addiction today. While we are watching this go down, Rob pops up on our screen, and the red flags start to turn into sirens, okay? The first thing that he states is that he is an alpha male. This is the first red flag, because men that think that being an alpha male is even a real thing are always problematic. The alpha male thing had been debunked many moons ago by, I can't remember the man's name. If I can find the article, I will link it. Being an alpha male is not a real thing. And so men that claim that they are alpha males actually tend to be abusive. And so the red flags were already red flagging with the camera situation and other things that we noticed in the first 4 episodes. But now we have him outwardly saying that he believes that he is an alpha male. He also states that he is the sole provider of the house. And then he claims that he has multiple streams of income. Now, as a viewer at home, you might sit there and think, how does somebody that's in prison have multiple streams of income? And not only that, but multiple streams of income to the point where Teenie, who is a stay-at-home mom, can live off of the income, as well as randomly go shopping and buy whatever she wants and yada yada yada. You might be a little confused by that, because that's not typically what you would see when somebody's been in prison for 16 years and went in there when they were 18. So when exactly did you start this business, right? But hold on.
I financially support Teenie. I have 2 sources of revenue. I'll sell shoes. I'll go to the poker table and play for hours and come away with $1,000 cash. I'll bring in $6,000-$7,000 a month. Randomly throughout the day, I ask her, because she spends so much money, she's turned into a spoiled brat, I swear.
Okay, so let's break this down, okay? Because one thing I don't like is when somebody trying to make me feel stupid as hell. So let's break this down, because Rob stated that he has multiple streams of income. But then he started talking about how he'll sell shoes, okay? I'm assuming that this is a part of the business that him and his brother have, because he's not selling no prison shoes, okay? But he sells shoes. And then he also states that he will play poker and walk away with $1,000 after hours of playing. Now, if you go and play poker for hours and hours and hours and you only walk away with $1,000, I have to assume that the pots are really small, right? Because if you're playing with big dogs, $1,000 is probably not even the minimum bet on a poker table. You know what I mean? And so I'm not playing poker for hours and hours and hours and only walking away with $1,000. Okay, that is not enough to be able to provide this lifestyle that Teenie and her children are currently living, right? The car, the house, everything else, the cameras, the internet, whatever, okay? He stated he brings in about $6,000 to $7,000 a month, and it's very unclear as to whether this is selling the shoes or playing poker. Now, my thing is, this is not legal. In prison, you're not allowed to gamble. You're not allowed to play poker. It is considered contraband. And so to get on national television and talk about playing poker or going to the poker table is stupid. I'm getting this feeling as I watch the show that Teenie and Rob should not have signed up for the show if they've been living a life that's under the radar and their life is Gucci Uchi right now. going on the show may have the wrong eyes start looking in Rob's direction, and it might be an extra 16 years he'd go end up doing after playing around with them damn poker tables and selling these alleged shoes that are enough to support this lifestyle. Because what it is giving is Winter Santiago, and what that means is that whatever he's selling, whatever business him and his brother have, is not giving legit business. Now, I can't make these assumptions. This is not an assumption. I'm just saying what it looks like, okay? So going on the show and discussing these things is not wise, but most criminals are not wise when it comes to certain things. And so sometimes they get too big for their britches, you know, and too bold. And so they might want to be careful. In the same scene, he claims that Teenie spends so much damn money that she's turned into a bit of a spoiled brat. And he says it in this tone where I just don't like it. I don't like the wording. And he's calling her a spoiled brat. And it's just like, just red flags. Like, I'm so worried about when he comes out of jail. I am, or prison, whatever. I'm so worried about when he comes out, how the things are going to change. He states that he will ask Teenie randomly for an account update and she'll change the subject. And when she does that, he says, oh God, let me just go to the poker table. Sir, you're gonna get your pod shut down. Y'all should not be playing no damn poker in there. You guys are running illegal games and you're talking about it on national television. What the hell? The inmates are going to beat him up when they find out that he's been on the damn show telling all the secrets. And so Teenie and her mom end up going out. And at this point, her mom is saying that she's really worried about Teenie and her grandchildren, you know, and what their relationship dynamic is going to be like once Rob gets home. And she's concerned, as she should be. Her mom makes it very clear that she don't know this man. She does not know him. Her mom states that she thinks that the fairy tale is going to be much more of a struggle than they think. And I completely agree. I don't see it going as fairy tale. They're in La La Land now. When Rob gets home, it's not gonna go the way that they think it's going to go. So of course, Teenie is acting clueless as per usual. And I think her mom even stated that, like, her daughter can be naive. Watching the show, those were my feelings. So to hear her mom confirm that Teenie is definitely on the naive side lets me know that we are headed for a potential disaster. Because one thing about it is, a nigga in jail gonna say what they need to say to get you where they need to get you. And he's done a very good job of that. Like I said in the last review or recap, how does somebody in prison convince you to be in prison with them? Like, he's monitoring them in their house like freaking goldfish in a fishbowl, or like his big brother. She can't see what he's doing in the jail, but he can see what she's doing at her house. Oh no, ma'am, no sir, no thank you, not okay. And with that being said, her mom acknowledges the fact that the camera situation is not normal. If you were at home and like it's not that big of a deal, seek help. Because it's a really big deal, and it's a really big red flag that the cameras are set up in the house the way that they are, and that he monitors them around the clock. Like, the man's not sleeping almost. Like, it's ridiculous. So her mom starts crying, and you know, if I was Teenie's sister, baby, I would have cussed her out a long time ago and said, girl, you are so dumb. Like, I'd be like, girl, you need to get it together. I would actually tell her from the outside looking in, from a different perspective, what her situation is giving, and then I would give her the number to the therapist so that the therapist can tell her that this is not normal. Because sometimes people need to hear it from a stranger. Sometimes when it comes from, you know, your loved ones, your family members, it don't click or hit the same. But if you let some random lady that work at an office tell you the same damn information, all of a sudden you have like the aha moment, like, you know, you guys are right. I wish I would have listened sooner. I think that her mom's intuition is very real and strong. And her mom has genuine concern about Rob as well, because he's been in prison so long that his brain has been rewired to prison. Because he's been in jail so long or prison so long, like, when he gets out, it's going to be a major adjustment. Like, think about what year he would have went in and is coming out in a completely different world. Like, even from 2020 to 2024 is a drastic change because of the pandemic. And so obviously he experienced pandemic in jail, but like on the outside it was such an experience from even 2019 to 2020 is like two different worlds. Somebody that went in the early 2000s and comes out of jail in 2024, where it's like if you were to go into prison and then come out and it's like the Jetsons when you come out, like flying cars and all kinds of crazy stuff. You would be so confused and be like, let me go back in, chill. At this point in the episode, I had to break out the power and control wheel because Rob said something that was beyond red flag. Rob referred to himself as the king of the family. So this happens at the 29-minute and 36-second mark. And when he said it, I had to break out the power and control wheel because there's an attitude behind it. They don't even have to say it. There's just this arrogance and this attitude behind people that are abusive, that move this way. And so to hear him state, firstly, that he's an alpha male, then call her a spoiled brat, then say that he's the king of the family, which means he's not only dominating in the relationship, but he's dominating the children. So this is very scary, okay? And so where it's using male privilege.
I'm the king of the family. I feel like I want a woman that is more submissive when you have all that. And sometimes I just
Child. So he said he's the king of the family and he would prefer a woman that is more submissive. And if you guys just watched my Diddy Cassie video, submissive women are what narcissistic men and abusive men prey on. Women that will listen, follow orders, follow instructions, that are meek, that are quiet, not going to complain too much, even if they're getting their head whooped off, okay, of their body. Like, the word submissive to somebody that claims they are an alpha male is not the same as being submissive in a relationship that is, one, equally yoked, but two, healthy. Because automatically, when you are in a healthy relationship and your partner goes above and beyond for you and you go above and beyond for your partner, you're automatically gonna submit to that man, right? You're automatically going to be softer for that man, especially if you're very independent or whatever the case may be. If you're a Sagittarius woman, you're automatically gonna submit when the right man shows you that he's worth submitting for and to. Period. These men use this term submit as a cover up of somebody that they want to walk all over. Okay, and so that's what we're seeing here. Using male privilege on the power and control, treating her like a servant, making all the big decisions. So he made a big decision in jail. We saw this. He made a decision without her. Acting like the master of the castle. He's the king of the family. Being the one to define men and women's roles. Baby, the red flags are red flagging, okay? I didn't make this up. I don't necessarily know that he's preventing her from keeping or getting a job, but he likes the fact that she relies on him for the money as he's the sole provider. He's made it very clear to let us know that he is providing everything for his family. Making her ask for money, giving her an allowance. Those are things that he can use to control her, and we see that he is a controlling person. As he was stating, he wants a woman that is more submissive, and he clearly states that Teenie does not give him submissive sometimes. Clearly Rob is stating that he wants somebody that's more submissive, and so if that's not Teenie, the woman that he's married to already, what point is he trying to make? Like, you want somebody that's more submissive. You're already married, so whoever you're married to, if they're not submissive, I mean, he knew before for sure that she was not going to be submissive. When you let a narcissistic person get away with a whole bunch of things and then you start to say no, it gets ugly. And so that's what we're seeing with Teenie turning off the cameras. She's not being submissive. She's not doing what he says that she needs to do, and he doesn't like that. And he knows when he gets out of prison that he's not going to let that fly. She might be getting away with it now because he has no real control, and he can feel that and sense that. I don't have any real control because all I do is monitor her on a camera. If she decides she's not answering my calls, if she decides she's plugging out the cameras, what control does he have? So he goes crazy, right? Because abusers and narcissistic men, women, whoever, they don't like to be ignored. So when you ignore them, they start flipping poop. They start taking their poop and throwing it up on the ceiling fan. They're pissed. So Teeny turning off those cameras is cutting off his access, and he is not feeling that at all. And if she's doing that, you know, when he gets home, when he tries to tell her to do certain things, he can see where he'll be able to control her and where he can't control her. And if he can't control her in everything, he's not going to be satisfied and happy with that. I'm genuinely worried that when he does come home, that he's going to try to exert dominance over her and control, which is going to reach and stretch far beyond what he's doing right now. So he takes it a step further in his confessional thing and tells her to just sit down and be cute, because she tries to tell him, these are his words, that she has just as much of a voice in the relationship as he does. He does not agree with this, which is a huge red flag. And I mean, I'm hoping she's watching the episodes back and seeing that she needs to leave this man, because if somebody tells you that you don't have a voice in your relationship, you need to run for the hills. What do you mean I don't have a voice? La, 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 la. I have a voice. I have a freaking voice. I have a voice, and I will be using it. Like, no, Rob is crazy, okay? Let me find the clip, chat. Hold on. If nobody's gonna tell Teeny that she's in a severely abusive relationship, I will be the first to tell her, ma'am, you are in an abusive relationship. You need to exit stage freaking left. The man said you have no voice. You have no opinion. Your opinion does not matter. Let's reference the power and control wheel again in case y'all didn't hear me the first time. Being the one to define men and women's roles. I would even put this under the using emotional abuse section of the wheel, because he's putting her down by pretty much telling her, just sit and be cute. To me, that is a very, very much a put down. Okay, because you're telling me I don't have a brain. Okay, I can't think for myself. You think for me. No. You're not going to do that. Then he's playing mind games with her. One, he's always watching her on the cameras. So already you start living anxiously, making her feel guilty, or cutting off them damn cameras and whatever else. But the playing mind games by taking away her own control, her voice, her power, and telling her that her opinions don't matter, essentially controlling her. That's a mind game in itself, right? And he's isolating her by always having the cameras on, because if people come over to the house and they realize that he has the cameras in the house and they don't want to be seen on the camera, or like if you watch, I think it was the first episode, and I think her friend or somebody was over and Rob started talking to them on the cameras, like the friend's face was so awkward, and it's just like, I don't even want to be in here right now, because what do you mean this man is watching me? Like, what if I was just telling you my personal business and all of a sudden, you know? This is a way to isolate her, because if I have friends and my friends are not comfortable now coming over to my house because I have these cameras set up, and, you know, my husband in jail or prison is always watching them, and I don't know who else is watching the cameras as well, other prisoners, like, who knows who's watching this freaking show. I'm gonna be isolated further, right? So it works out to Rob's advantage of trying to isolate her, and then this will also limit her outside involvement, because she's a stay-at-home mom. Come on now, people, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this relationship is not it, okay?
I tell her, sit down and just be cute over there. I got everything else. But no, she's not going to sit down. She says, I have just as much voice in this relationship as you. With her not being as submissive as I want her to be, it could possibly crash our relationship. I'll be completely honest.
He's smoking dick. You too. Girl. The man talks like this is his girlfriend and not his wife. And that's what's so frustrating for me, because he just stated that because she's not as submissive as he needs her to be or wants her to be, it could possibly crash the relationship. Sir, this is not your girlfriend. What you mean it's gonna crash your relationship? What does that even mean? You've never even heard this terminology before, but I'm assuming he means that the relationship will end because she's not able to be controlled and he needs somebody that's submissive. So by the end of that, baby, I was exhausted and beside myself. Okay, but the show must go on. Everything that we saw in that one scene, unacceptable. Cue the damn lemon grab, because it's just unfreaking acceptable, period.
Unacceptable conditions!
That being said, we gonna head back over there to Candice and Andy. And so Candice finally accepts the proposal. She says, of course, yes, she will marry him, okay? Candice also states that Andy is not her typical type that she would go for, but she loves him because he is so sweet. She breaks the news to him that she's gonna end up having to do 20 to 30 days in the halfway house program, but she's very frustrated because she only signed up for a 14-day program.
But I said I signed up for a 14-day program. What do you mean? And how will we have a place ready for me, that you're here, that I have everything lined up? And she just brought up my substance abuse, and you know, you need to see if this is gonna work for you and make sure you're not gonna backslide, because if you don't go to WellCare and finish the program, it's automatic revocation and you have to do all your time over again.
Oh my God. So Candice is pissed off because she, like I stated, signed up for a 14-day program. They're telling her she has to do at least 20 now to 30 days in the program, not 14. And so she can't go to the apartment that he got for her. In order for her to be released to that apartment, she has to show in the program that she's progressing and doing well. Candice has prior substance abuse issues. And so the person that is handling her jail business told her that if she does not do the WellCare program the way that it's intended to be done, then she would actually have to restart her prison time all over again, right? So if Candice says, F this, I'm just gonna go straight to the apartment, I'm not gonna go do WellCare or the halfway house, she will end up back in prison or back in jail doing her time all over again. So if she just did a year, she would have to do a year all over again. So she has no choice but to go to WellCare. In my opinion, I don't think that that's fair at all. You know, I understand why they put WellCare in place, but if she signed up for a 14-day program, she should really only have to do the 14 days. And like, if she's showing progress in those 14 days, then let her go to the damn apartment. But to then tell her it's not going to be 14, it's going to be 20 or 30, I don't think that that's fair. And I also really don't think that it's fair that she should redo time that she already did if she decides she's not going to the WellCare program. I think that that's some bull, okay? But it is what it is. Once you become a prisoner or person in jail, baby, that's your life. That's who you are at that point. They don't really treat you like you're a human being anymore once you serve time. Of course, Andy feels bad for her. Candice states that she really did not intend to be financially dependent on Andrew. But the first time that Andrew ever sent her money, he sent it without her having to ask for it. And I said, this man is a simp and a trick. Okay, that's the problem. Andrew is a trick. He gives trick energy, you know. I think he's definitely a people pleaser, and hell, if you are his lady baby, he gonna make sure that you are straight. And so when he sent her the money when they first started talking, she's like, oh my God, thank you. Like, I'm gonna buy a pillow because baby, in jail they don't give you nothing apparently. So she didn't have a pillow, so she said she's gonna buy a pillow with, you know, her commissary money. And so he's like, you don't have a pillow? And then he asked her for a list of all the things that she didn't have, and she gave it to him, and he provided those things for her. So obviously she held on to him because she was in jail all alone, and then all of a sudden here comes her knight in shining damn armor and is providing her sheets, toothpaste, soap, all the things that Rick's Lady Sam wants, baby, Andrew was providing for Candice. And so, like I said in the last video, I would not let Andrew go either. I would not let Andrew go either. Andrew is doing the damn thing, okay? In my opinion, though, I feel like he bought her love, and so I'm not really sure where the relationship is gonna go after a while. I think that each of them are feeling obligated to one another. Like, I feel like he felt obligated to help her while she was in prison, and I feel like she's gonna now, if she's not in love or realizes she's not in love, she's gonna feel a little obligated to stay with him because he did so much for her, and then the relationship is just never gonna be a genuine relationship. But I could be wrong. Andrew goes into the car and gets her Louis Vuitton, apologizes again about the leather from the zipper. She's taking all the stuff out of the bag, like her new iPhone and all these things, and she is visibly overwhelmed. And in the last video, I stated that I was overwhelmed just hearing him say what he got for her and seeing all the things that he had gotten for her. I was like, this is overwhelming and almost teetering overbearing, like he's an overbearing guy. she then stated, of course, that she was overwhelmed, and he was trying to console her in a way and say, like, I understand, you know, and just let me know, like, if you're overwhelmed, like, if I'm doing too much, tell me, you know. He stated that, but I think he knows in relationships that that's how he gets. I don't know if he obsesses over his partners, but he definitely goes above and beyond for them, and some people don't know how to receive that and will get overwhelmed if you're doing too much for them, especially if you're doing it too soon. So one thing I will say though is that Andrew knows that he is an overwhelming man. Okay, he knows he's overwhelming. So Candice states that she feels like a princess, and then she goes on to say that she is so used to being mistreated and she's not used to being loved in the way that Andrew loves her. It's hard for her. She says she feels awkward, and I feel like that's a great word to describe if you are not used to something and somebody is doing the complete opposite of what you're used to. If you're used to being with bad men or women, and then all of a sudden you get a good person, you might not know how to receive them, and so you end up mistreating them, or you get overwhelmed by them, right? And so she states that she needs to get over her trauma so that she can show up in her relationship, and to me that's a green flag, you know. I hope that she'll go to therapy and stuff and learn how to receive the love that Andrew is trying to give her. And I also hope though that Andrew will go to therapy and realize that he doesn't have to give so much materialistic items for his partner to love him, especially because she's a survival based person, right? So, or somebody that's been raised on survival or had to do a lot of things to survive. She's coming from a theft background, grand theft auto, like all these things, right? And so he has to learn what she's not been used to and learn what she has been used to and find the happy medium, right, between the two. Obviously there's nothing that she received before from a man that was healthy, right? She said she's used to being mistreated, and so he needs to find the normalcy between, you know, how a regular person would show up in relationship versus how he shows up in relationship, because to me he just does a lot, and he can scale it back a little bit and still be doing a lot, but just to not where it's overwhelming. So he also needs to go to therapy. They need to go to therapy together and find out what is acceptable in their relationship for each other. Girl, I'm giving them free game. They need to hire me as the as the coach on the damn show. Okay, so we have 2 more scenes to cover and we are done, okay? So the next scene is Joey. So Joey has a video call with Mike, and he goes to a hotel because he wanted to get some privacy so that he could do the dirty talking without his parents being in the next room. What is dumb about this and very obvious is that, I mean, it was going to be on TV, so I do not believe that he really was going to this hotel to have this sexy time with Michael, because you are trying to hide it from your parents that are in the next room, but you're going to allow a whole camera crew to be in the hotel room video taping you doing dirty talk. That doesn't make any sense. So I wasn't buying none of it, but it's reality TV, and what we know about reality TV is that it's not real. So some of the advice that Minerva had given Joey was to watch amateur porn to get into things and how they talk. And so he starts telling Mike about this. When he starts trying to have like this sexual conversation with Mike, he switches the subject immediately like a damn Debbie Downer, okay? Michael starts telling Joey that his friend saw him on a hookup app, and so Michael is not impressed with this at all. So Mike starts, you know, chastising Joey and saying like, I thought you were waiting for me, like I'm in here for a year, blah blah blah. And so Joey's like, you don't trust me? Like what is the problem? And then he stated to Michael, if I was online, I wasn't trying to get with nobody, and I'm not trying to be with nobody but you. And so Michael starts telling Joey that he is not to do that, and he shouldn't be on there, and he's not allowed to be on there, and states that he's not in jail hooking up with nobody, so you know he expects the same from him on the outside. So Joey reiterates the fact that he wasn't doing anything wrong. You know, he's not really feeling the way that Michael's coming at him, and Michael's not listening either, so it's mess all around. Michael tells him, don't do anything stupid because it's gonna get back to me. And this is just reminding me of Rob all over again. Like, these inmates really be having their ear to the street or what? Like, I don't know what is going on, but everything is getting back to the inmates, okay? So the people that they're dating are not free at all. They are in bondage. He hangs up the call, and so Joey begins to explain why he was on the website. I put the pieces together, and I'm assuming it was to get a picture of Michael that he could Photoshop. So remember the horribly Photoshopped photo with the melting face? He pretty much was trying to get a picture of Michael with somebody else so that he could Photoshop it, and that's the only reason why he was on there, because he had access to Michael's full profile since they had already like matched or were already friends on the dating app. That's why he was on, because I guess he logged into Grindr or whatever to go to Michael's profile to get the picture, and in that time while he was doing that, somebody saw him, took that bone, went back to Michael with it, and created drama. That being said, Joey's pissed, and he's like, you're in jail, you're in prison anyway. Like, he's just talking in his hotel room. At this point, Michael's not even on the phone, and he's like, and who cares, because you in jail, like, you're in prison, whatever. So what if I was on these apps and decided I need to give me some chat? Who gonna check me, boo? That's the energy he gave. Who gonna check me, boo?
You know what I was doing? I was trolling your site.
Just so you know, I'm not anybody in here. I'm not messing around. I'm not, getting from anybody, nobody in here. And it's tough sometimes, but like, I'm doing it, but I'm expecting that of you too. So, you're my dude.
I don't care if his friends see me, because I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to be doing. And if I was, who cares? Too, because you're in jail. You're in prison.
Joey ate him up with that one. He's like, who cares? You're in prison. Like, shut up. Sit down somewhere. Go stare at the wall. He ate him up, baby. He's like, who cares? Bye. Like, he knows he's being faithful to him, so I don't know why he's doing that, but it is what it is. The call actually ended because those, like, Skype calls or whatever they are, they're timed, and so it's just like if you're on the phone and then it ends after like 15 minutes, they have to call you back. But I guess on the call, he didn't call back on video chat, or you're just not allowed to do multiple video chats. I don't freaking know how it works, girl. But the call ended, and Joey and Mike did not end on a good note that day, okay? And so that brings us into our final scene. Because Ayanna was on the Zoom call, they could not show that part of it, even if they recorded it, because like typically, unless you're given permission to record in a courtroom, then you can't, right? And if you do record, then you can't like go put it online or something if that was the case. So they couldn't include the actual call, but we saw the aftermath of it, okay? And Ayanna was not a happy woman. We all know Ayanna's attitude is not the greatest, but she got into a verbal altercation with the judge. Ayanna, whose daughter is 2 years old, needed breakfast. She had woken up shortly before Ayanna got on the call, and the judge was not okay with this at all. The judge felt like Ayanna should have made prior arrangements for her child so that when it came to court, she could just, be at court. So they show the transcripts on the screen, and I will insert them. So I will read you the transcripts as they're up on the screen. Ayanna says, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get my daughter ready for breakfast. She just woke up and I'm like trying to. The judge cuts her off and she's like, no, miss, I am about to continue this matter until you can be here in person, which will be next week. Let's do that, okay? Because we're inconveniencing you clearly. Ayanna says, no, you're not. I'm just, Your Honor, I'm a single mother. I have no one here to help me with my daughter. She just woke up, like literally woke up 10 minutes ago, and I'm trying to get her breakfast. And so then Ayanna's like, so we already set, but you told me that we had to do it today. And then the judge is like, Miss Ayanna, I am on the edge of continuing this to next week. Are you ready to proceed now? So then Ayanna's like, yeah. Is it okay I give my daughter breakfast? Is that okay? And then the judge is like, no, it is the defendant Ayanna, she's like, I'm just, and then the court's like, we are in court here. This is a court proceeding. So then Ayanna gets rude and she's like, okay, just be hungry. And so as I was reading the transcripts in real time, I was like, screw that judge. Like, she was just being so ridiculous, and a lot of them are like that. I don't know if it's a stuck in their ways thing, or like I understand that Ayanna should have probably had made prior arrangements for her child, but if you know what it's like to be a single mother, then sometimes that's just not possible, you know. And the judge was showing her zero compassion, and I saw both sides, because obviously the reason that Ayanna is in court is for a DUI, so she never gave a damn about her kid at that time when she was getting that damn DUI, so maybe that's why the judge is not showing her grace or compassion. But at the same time, when you read the actual transcripts, it's like it was just so unnecessary. Then again, we can't hear tone, we can only read what was typed into a computer. The other thing that I considered was the fact that the original court date was for the 8th, I believe. And then the judge decided the judge is going to be unavailable that day. So she moved the court date up to the 7th. So maybe Ayanna had prior arrangements for the 8th, but then when they switched it to the 7th, she didn't have those same arrangements to have her daughter be elsewhere while she was going to be at court. So technically they inconvenienced her, right? But that's just, I guess, the way the cookie crumbles. I think that the judge was definitely unnecessarily harsh with Ayanna, but like I was just stating, a DUI is highly irresponsible, especially as a parent. It's irresponsible regardless. It doesn't matter if you have kids or not. You shouldn't be under the influence while driving. I'm thinking maybe the judge is upset knowing that Ayanna has a 2-year-old child, and she probably knows that Ayanna has another child as well. The fact that Ayanna is still running in them streets like a damn chicken head. So instead of her finding out whether she gets 15, 75, 90, the judge actually brings up 4 years of probation. Ayanna is heated, okay? She is pissed, and you know, rightfully so.
Tell me I have 4 years probation. Nobody never said nothing about no 4 years of probation. Like, girl, what are you talking about? Where is this coming from? I really hate judges. Like, bitch, you're gonna tell me I can't feed my daughter because it's your courtroom. Bitch, I'm feeding my daughter. You gonna feed your kid? I'm sitting here by myself talking about, no, you can't feed your kid. Bitch, you and your kids. How about that? She can kiss me.
Now. I hope the judge don't watch this show, yeah, because the judge gonna hear her say F you and your kids. Girl, she was mad, okay? And I mean, yeah, gonna be mad too. Ooh, she was hot. I could feel it for Ayanna, you know. I could feel how mad she was through the screen, and I can't even fault her for. Hi, how was your day? Ayanna is in her kitchen cussing out the judge after the Zoom meeting and taking off her microphone and telling production she's done for the day. Okay, she's taking off her mic like, get this off of me. I'm out of here. That's how mad she also states that the judge can kiss her rump. Okay, and so I really hope the judge don't see this, child, because she gonna add another 2 years to that damn probation. Jamal calls right after this, and he's inquiring about court. And so I couldn't tell if she said they gave me the 15 days or they got rid of the 15 days. But she tells Jamal that she's facing now 4 years of probation. And so I started thinking, like, is this not excessive for a DUI? But then I guess the judge is considering the fact that it's not her first DUI, it's not her first offense, and she has other things on her record, right? So the judge is going based off of those things. That being said, it reminds me of Meek Mill and the bikes. Is this a Philadelphia thing, girl? Because she from Philly, Meek from Philly, the long extra probation for minimal crimes is weird. You know, maybe it's a Philadelphia thing, baby. Philadelphia is just not the state you want to get into trouble in of any sort. Sentence not matching the crime is definitely giving Meek Mill bike vibes with that judge. At this point in the episode, we see that Jamal has a little bit more sense than Ayanna, and he tells her that she's playing too much with her freedom. And he tells her, just like everybody else is trying to tell her, like her mama tried to tell her, girl, it's not about you. It's not about you. And I don't know if he's being selfish considering himself or if he's referring to the fact that she's a mom and has her kids. Because I mean, it's hypocritical of him, right message, wrong messenger type vibes. Because, like, sir, you got 6 kids and you're in prison yourself for drug trafficking. But, like, that's neither here nor there. He's telling this lady, it's not about you, and she needs to take heed. It's not about her. And so as much as I wanted to support Ayanna in her anger, this part of the episode kind of threw me, because I don't know if it's editing and they just edited out the part where she considers the children. But when I saw that she was more concerned about whether or not Jamal will be able to come home to her if she's on probation, because criminals are not really supposed to, right? And so she's more concerned about Jamal coming home to her, if he's going to be able to or not, versus the concern for her children, what they're going to do with their mom, being locked up or even being on probation, however that affects the children. And so that's when I said, you know what, whatever the judge does is at this point, it is what it is, because Ayanna's priorities are not all the way there.
Because you're a judge, I gotta kiss your ass to get a good sentence. But if I get smart to you,
No, but you got to be a freedom on the line.
no, I don't kiss nobody else.
Like, no. It ain't about you, though.
I don't know, being on probation, this would affect Jamal coming home and coming home to me. I'm just so livid.
Listen, like, we just put the facts on the table. Like, some of them people are dickheads. They gonna treat you like you a human, talk to you all type of ways. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we still gotta fight our soul.
I don't know how she could be more concerned about whether Jamal could come home to her than being concerned about her own children. But at this point, baby, whatever the judge says that Ayanna needs to get her life in order is whatever the judge says she needs to get her life in order, because she doesn't seem to be getting, it's not clicking for her. He pretty much told her, no matter what the court does, no matter how they might be having a crappy day and decide to like bang the gavel on you, no matter what they decide, we still have to bite our tongue. As somebody that is at their mercy, they gotta bite their tongues. They can't be in court arguing with the judge, right? Ayanna starts crying her eyes out and stating this is crazy, and then the episode ends. And so that's where we left off on Friday for episode 5 of Love During Lockup. Y'all were right, this is a good show. I am digging it so far. I am loving Love During Lockup. I'm loving recapping it for you. My daughter is upset that I have her iPad in here, so I'm going to go and return it now. Tell me what your thoughts were with this episode. Tell me if I missed anything, and I will see you next week for Love During Lockup episode 6. I love you all, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.